My name's Lee, and today I'm going to be showing you a textured low fade. As you can see, Felix's hair is very overgrown, leaving him with an undesired shape. So I'll start this haircut by assessing the hairlines, head shape, and the face shape. These are what we like to refer to as the fix factors. Next, I will go ahead and spray down the hair. This will further allow me to assess the hair. Next, I will be moving on to the section pattern. The section pattern is the map to the whole haircut. First, I'm going to start by finding the highest point of the head. This is where I'm going to separate the front of the head from the back of the head, starting at the highest point and finishing behind the ear. I will then move on to section the side panels, finding the highest point on the apex of the head. This will allow me to retain weight and width through the corners of the head. Repeat the section pattern on the other side. I will create a deep V section in the crown of the head. This will allow me to have maximum control and create any desired shape that I choose. A great tip here is to use your fingertip and your thumb at the start point and end point of the section and close them together for a clean and effective finish. I'll start this haircut on my strongest side, which is the right hand side. I'm going to be creating horizontal graduation. So instead of taking sections vertically, I'll be taking them horizontally. This means I can start at the lowest point of the hairline and over direct all of the hair above it. This will allow me to retain the most weight and width through the apex of the head. This is particularly important with Felix's haircut as it complements his narrow face shape. The section pattern is set up in a way which helps guide the haircut. So as you can see, as I start to move over the ear, the section line is going to dictate my cutting line. Here I'm cutting on an angle. This will suit the head shape and the bone structure. I will keep creating my graduation until I meet the middle of the head at the back. And repeat the process, crossing over at the back and cross-checking. Once the graduation is complete, I will then release the crown. The crown will be cut using graduation, and I will over-direct each section to the previously cut section. I will take diagonal sections, following the previous section line. This will retain maximum weight throughout the crown. The next step is to release the top. I will move on and create my first guideline, which is through the center of the head. I will create a triangular shape here using the length from the crown as my initial guide. Each subsequent section will be over-directed towards the center section to retain weight and width throughout the corners of the head. This will allow me to keep length towards the front of the head, achieving maximum texture. Then we will go on and cross-check these sections using horizontal sections. Once the top has been cut and cross-checked, I will then move on to connect the top to the sides. I've purposely left this to the end because I don't want to remove too much weight from the front corners. I'm going to choose a section just above the ear, and I'm going to be cutting these vertically. This will allow me to visualize the shape and make sure I am not removing too much hair. Before I style the hair, I'm going to split the head through the center. I'm going to go through and put some wet texture into Felix's hair. Starting at the crown, I'm going to take sections no wider than the width of my comb, and I'm going to twist the whole section. This is going to allow the curly texture to move in its own natural way. I'm going to apply a small amount into damp hair. This will allow me to really build up some texture and change the material of the hair. I'm going to start by using a flat brush to pack in the sides with a concentrated air attachment on my Dyson Supersonic. Once I've packed in the sides and the back around the contour of the head, I'm going to switch to the diffuser and slowly dry the top for maximum texture. Once I get to a point where the hair is about 70% dry, I'm going to switch the hairdryer to a cold air setting to set the product into the hair. The rest can air dry. The next step is to move on to the clipper work. My first guard of choice is a number 3 guard. This will reduce any bulk remaining underneath the ridge of the head, but it will also flow into the top of the hair really nicely. Remember, we are creating graduation here, so it's important to choose the correct clipper guard. Next, I'm going to scissor over comb to refine the edge for a smooth transition. Moving on, I will then place the shortest length, which is our 0 line, as low as I can get it. So at the front, I'm going to place it to the top of the ear. And through the neck, I'm going to start through the mastoid bone, working through to the nape. I'm going to use the foil shaver to take this section down to the skin, being sure to leave a few follicles for a nice seamless blend. Next, I'm putting on my number 1 guard, and I'm going to use the lever closed to clear some space. I will then remove my 1 guard, open the lever, and with no guard attached, I will incrementally close the lever to remove my 0 line. Moving on, I will use my 1.5 guard. Again, I will open the lever until I'm achieving a nice color spread. Once I'm happy with how the color spread is looking, I will close the guard. Again, looking at the color spread and assessing how the fade is coming together. After I've used the 1.5 guard, I'm going to switch back to my number 1 guard. This time, I'm going to use the lever open. I'm going to use this length until I'm happy with the color spread. Once I've assessed and I'm happy, I'm going to close the lever, and this will be a true number 1. This is where I'll really refine the fade. As you can see, there will be moments here where I'm just using the very end 2 or 3 teeth on the clipper guard. This is called picking. This will really help me to dig out any dark spots and refine the fade. Lastly, I will scissor over comb to refine any areas that need a smooth transition. When fading, we like to look at it as a puzzle. We start with one panel and replicate on the other side. We come back to the back corner and replicate on the other side. Then we will come to the back and blend everything together for a seamless finish. This ultimately gives us the most control. To finish off this haircut, I will go through and do any refinements I see necessary. I can use the corner of the clipper blade to remove any dark spots. I can also use the tips of the scissors to point away any darker areas. And lastly, to finish off this haircut, I will use a small amount of motion cloud, warm it between my palms, and scrunch it into the hair to style as desired. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. To see more like this, you can browse through our online resource library for watching. I'll see you on the next one.